the widescreen boom. That period in the 1950s where movies were experimenting with all sorts of ways to make their pictures bigger. You got Cinerama, which was...
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
Taking 3 35mm images, shooting them all at once to make something really cool, but you can't make a film out of it. Trust me, they tried. In comes recently promoted 20th Century Fox head Spiros Skouros, eating his baklava, who asks himself, "No, this Cinerama is pretty cool and all, but how can you do that without blowing up costs?" Well, they find a way, and it becomes known as Cinemascope. They loved it so much that they decided to use it on every film that they were going to make from that point forward, regardless on whether the film calls for it or not. Well, what does this have to do with Lady and the Tramp, Adam? Well, I'm glad you asked. Walt Disney, that beautifully, beautifully ambitious asshole, said, "Fuck, I want to make a movie like that." He teamed up with 20th Century Fox and made 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which, on a personal note, is actually my favorite Disney movie ever. It was a huge hit. You see, Disney was a crafty dude. Backers said, "Don't do it, Disney! Don't do it!" But Disney was like, "Nah, we need to make more movies like this." So he bet on widescreen formatting becoming the next big thing in Hollywood, the thing to actually push movies forward. And to his credit, he was right. Then Disney gets an even crazier idea. "I want to make a cartoon film, shot in Cinemascope." But Disney signs their paycheck, so guess what? They do it anyways, and they make Lady and the Tramp. There was a problem, though. Not all theaters in 1955 were equipped with anamorphic lenses to properly project Cinemascope productions. So Disney had another idea, an awful idea. He had the animators make Lady and the Tramp twice. Oh, that makes perfect sense. Why don't, especially when home media came out, they could just pull that out instead of doing pan and scan, right, Adam? Nope. Nope. Those were just pan and scanned. Then what happened to the other version of Lady and the Tramp? Fuck if I know. Fuck if anyone knows. The point being that they had to animate the whole damn thing twice, reframing shots to make the images go from a 255:1 aspect ratio to a 137:1 aspect ratio. But it turns out that this wasn't such a bad idea after all. Something else was big in the 1950s besides major sexism, racism, communism, Korea, Reconstruction, American unrest.
Get on with it!
There were so many different forms of the widescreen process being made, some movie theaters would only be able to show one or the other, which created a problem. So what Disney did with Lady and the Tramp was actually done for several early widescreen movies, though for different reasons. Movies were often shot twice, once with 70mm film, mostly at 30 FPS, at a time again with 35mm Cinemascope anamorphic lenses shot with 24 FPS. Whichever theater could play what could get their differing versions of that film. They did this with Oklahoma, Around the World in 80 Days, and thank God that this process didn't last long. But Disney did it first, so loop up that dildo and fuck it.